20-year-old Filipino tennis star Eala has sent Melbourne Park crowds into an absolute frenzy. We'll go live to Ollie Haig, who's in Garden Square for us this evening. Ollie.
I need everyone to stop what they're doing right now. Put the tennis rackets down. Forget about forehands and baseline rallies and pull up a chair because we're stepping straight into the corporate boardroom. We are not talking about sports today. We are talking about the cold, calculated business of global athletics. And I am telling you right now that the Women's Tennis Association is facing a serious financial crisis that the mainstream media is too afraid to talk about. I have been making calls. I have been speaking to people who understand how this tour really works on the inside. And what is leaking out of those executive suites is nothing short of alarming. Tomorrow morning, the sports networks will try to feed you a clean, polished story about tour integrity and the strength of the player field. Do not believe a word of it. I am here to tell you that the worst-case scenario, the one that keeps WTA executives up at night, is playing out right in front of us, and it is completely connected to the cultural force that is Alexandra Ela. The corporate sponsors are not just feeling uneasy. They are rushing for the exit and threatening to pull hundreds of millions of dollars with them. So let us cut through the feel-good story of professional tennis for a moment and look at the hard numbers behind how this whole system actually stays alive. The WTA is not a charity. It is a massive global corporate machine kept alive by television broadcast rights and high-end corporate sponsorships. When a luxury watch brand, an international airline, or a major global bank signs a $50 million deal to put their logo on the net or their name on the stadium walls, they are not doing it because they love the sport. They are buying attention. They are buying guaranteed engagement. They are paying for the certainty that when the camera sweeps across center court during a prime-time quarterfinal, millions of people watching from their living rooms will see a packed, loud, electric stadium and will instinctively connect that energy with their brand. For years, the WTA has been playing a dangerous game, quietly trying to convince major sponsors that everything is healthy and thriving. Behind the scenes, they have been working hard to hide an uncomfortable truth, that outside of the Grand Slams, a shocking number of their matches are played in front of nearly empty, silent arenas. Insiders call it the fake thousand problem. You build a stunning stadium, you hand out millions in prize money, 2 top 10 players walk out and deliver a brilliant match, and the crowd is maybe 300 people scattered through the lower bowl, clapping politely. And then, out of nowhere, the tour was handed something it had not seen coming. They were handed Alexandra Ela. When Eala began her rapid rise through the rankings, breaking barriers and beating experienced veterans with her relentless, grinding style of baseline tennis, she did not just bring a compelling story to the tour. She brought a full cultural revolution. She brought the Eala army. Suddenly, tournament directors looked up and saw something they had not witnessed in years. Stadiums were completely sold out. The atmosphere shifted overnight from a quiet, polite setting into something that felt like a World Cup match. Thousands of passionate fans showed up waving flags, screaming with everything they had, buying out every piece of merchandise in the building, and turning an ordinary Tuesday afternoon tennis match into a major global television event. Television ratings across the Asian demographic shot through the roof. Social media engagement went completely off the charts. For a brief, exciting moment, WTA executives sat back in their luxury boxes, looked out at the roaring crowds, and believed they had cracked the code. They thought they had finally solved the attendance problem for good. But here is the fatal flaw in building your entire global business model around a single country-driven cultural movement. What happens when your golden goose loses a match? What happens when the Eala army packs up and goes home? I will tell you exactly what happens, and this is precisely why sponsors are currently threatening to tear up their contracts and walk out. The moment the umpire calls game, set, and match on an Eala defeat, the stadium does not just quiet down, it evaporates completely. We are talking about an immediate 90% drop in physical attendance within 20 minutes of her walking off the court. The fans do not stay for the next match. They do not care about the reigning Wimbledon champion warming up in the tunnel. They did not buy a ticket to support the Women's Tennis Association. They bought a ticket solely to watch Alexandra Ela. And the moment she is gone, the illusion of a healthy, thriving, and universally popular tennis tour shatters instantly. One observer put it simply, during an Eala match, there were people wrapped around the entire stadium just trying to get inside, which is pretty remarkable to witness. And while that kind of energy is exciting and wonderful to see, it also raises real questions about the fan experience for those who could not get in, but hopefully the event continues to grow from here. Now picture the panic inside a television broadcast control room when that mass exodus happens. You are the executive producer of a major sports network. Premium sponsors have paid top dollar for commercial slots during the prime time evening session. You cut to a wide-angle shot of center court for a blockbuster semi-final between two top 5 players in the world. And all you see is a sea of empty plastic seats. Camera operators are being frantically instructed through their earpieces to keep shots tight on the players' faces at all times, avoiding the upper decks completely, because the stadium looks more like a local high school tournament than a premier global sporting event. Audio engineers are desperately pumping in artificial crowd noise just to cover up the uncomfortable silence of a tennis ball echoing off empty concrete walls. It is a complete disaster both visually and acoustically, and corporate sponsors watching from their own boardrooms are furious. They're calling the WTA CEO directly and demanding answers. They're saying they did not pay $50 million to advertise to empty plastic chairs. They paid for the energy that Alexandra Ela brings. And if that energy cannot be guaranteed when she is not on the court, then the product is fundamentally broken. These corporate sponsors do not operate on hope or good faith. They operate strictly on return on investment. And if they come to the conclusion that the WTA cannot independently draw a crowd without leaning entirely on the passion of Filipino fans, the entire value of the tour collapses. The sponsors are beginning to realize that they are not investing in a global tennis tour. They are investing in the Eala effect, and if Eala gets a tough draw, picks up an injury, or simply has an off day and loses in the second round, the sponsors are left holding an expensive and empty bag. This is the impossible situation that is keeping WTA executives awake at night. They are completely dependent on the Eala army. They need her in the draw to sell tickets, create viral moments on social media, and deliver the electric atmosphere they use in their promotional materials to attract new sponsors. They silently hope every single morning that she makes it to the final weekend of every tournament. But because she is still young, still developing physically, and grinding through exhausting baseline matches without the luxury of big serves or easy points, she is going to take losses against the seasoned veterans of the sport. And the moment that happens, the financial foundation of the tournament drops away instantly. The executives are essentially holding their breath every time she steps on the court. They're sitting in their boardrooms, finally realizing that they completely failed to market the rest of their tour to this massive and highly engaged audience. They assumed that simply getting Eala fans through the doors would somehow cause those fans to fall in love with the broader product. That was a costly miscalculation. The WTA thought they were selling the prestige of professional tennis, but the fans were only ever buying the deeply personal and emotional story of Alexandra Ela. You cannot transfer the fierce loyalty of a patriotic fan base to a random European or American player just because they rank higher on a spreadsheet. The Eala army is a cultural movement, and the WTA has absolutely no idea how to handle a cultural movement that they cannot control, package, and monetize on their own terms. If this sponsor panic is not addressed, the ripple effects across the entire sport will be significant. If major corporate backers begin pulling their funding, prize money will shrink, tournament quality will decline, and the pressure being placed on Alexandra Ela will become even more unfair than it already is. The tour is essentially going to place the entire financial weight of a global industry on the shoulders of a 20-year-old every single time she walks onto the court. That is not just unfair. It is genuinely dangerous for her development and her mental well-being. I want to speak directly to the Eala army right now because your passion and dedication are literally shaping the economics of $1 billion industry. I need you to be honest with me in the comments. When she loses, do you turn off the television? If you buy a ticket to a tournament and she gets knocked out early, do you leave or do you stay to watch the rest of the matches? Do you actually care about the health of the wider WTA tour, or are you here purely to support your player and watch her make history? I am not judging either way. I genuinely want to understand the psychology behind this movement because the people sitting in those boardrooms are desperately trying to figure you out and coming up short every time. And for the general tennis fans watching this, how do you feel about this fragile financial situation? Does it concern you that the tour has become so heavily dependent on one specific fan base to create a real atmosphere? Do you think the sponsors are justified in threatening to walk away over empty stadiums? Or do you think the WTA needs to completely rebuild their marketing approach to solve this crisis? Drop your theories, your reactions, and your honest business take in the comments below. Let us have a real and open conversation about the corporate side of the sport, because the mainstream media is not willing to touch what is actually being discussed behind closed doors in those sponsor meetings. If this kind of analysis is what you're looking for, hit the like button to help push this video through the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel if you want real behind-the-scenes breakdowns instead of polished corporate storytelling. Turn on notifications so you never miss an upload, and I will see you in the next one.